friends. This is the Cryptonian taking a look at Bitcoin and the general market. Today's Thursday, the 19th. Jerome Powell has spoken for the Fed, and this was the day that everyone was looking forward to, hoping that there would be some kind of pivot, some kind of positive information coming from the Fed. However, we'll get into that in a moment. Currently, the market is showing that over the past couple weeks, we've seen a lot of strength. Bitcoin is up 7% for the last week, which is showing a lot of strength. We can see that the Bitcoin dominance here has just been skyrocketing. So the play has been in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is dominating the market right now, which this is pretty typical for Bitcoin in the early stages of a bull market or during a transitionary phase of the market. Okay, so taking a look at the overview of the market here on CoinGecko, we see Bitcoin outperforming the market 7% for the week. Ethereum not as strong, 2% for the week, and that's because we've seen a lot of selling pressure for Ethereum recently. We see BNB up 2% for the last week. XRP not really doing much over the last week at 1%. We can also see that Lido staked Ether, number 7 on the list, up only 2%. Now Solana has been killing it. The market has been favoring Solana over these last few weeks, and Solana is up 16% in the last week alone, 5.4% for the day. We see, let's see, Tron up 5%. That's pretty modest, although that's more of a trader coin. Although I do think that other countries are using Tron extensively. Tone Coin up 8%, and Polygon only 1%. Wrapped Bitcoin up 7%. Chainlink up only 2%, while Bitcoin Cash up 8%. So you can see that there's a lot of differences in different coins and whether they're gaining or losing. The market is pretty mixed right now. Shiba Inu, a big meme coin, minus 1% for the week. And what else? Uniswap down 2.4% for the week and not doing much, pretty much flat. OKB is up 4%. However, Cosmos down 4%. So you can see that there is this mixture in results. The farther down you go, you do see a lot more losers in the market here. Maker up 2.8%, Aptos up 2%, while Mantle down 3.7% and Arbitrum down 3% for the week. Caspa up 7.8%, a big gainer over the last week. Near Protocol losing 3%. Aave up 2.7% for the last week and up 2.9% just today. So Aave has been performing well recently today. And Rocket Pool Ethereum up 2.5%. Bitcoin SV, a huge 27% increase, which is crazy. I mean, really outperforming everything. Stacks up 15%. So, like I said, as we move down here, we see, and here we see a crazy one, right? Crypto Paw Coin, a meme coin, up 900% over the past week and 300% just today alone. Render up 12%, and Injective Protocol up 15%, while Algorand down 6%. So a mixed market right now, and so we need to be careful. The mixed market coming from, in my opinion, coming from Jerome Powell and the Fed. Now today was an anticipated day. The markets usually rally into a Fed speech. However, Jerome Powell is not changing his sentiment, changing his perspective on the market. Powell says that inflation is still too high, and he's warning of more rate hikes if the economy, or what he really means is inflation, if inflation heats up and starts to move higher rapidly or increase momentum. So with this neutral stance, what is the market doing? Well, right now, Bitcoin is trying to push up higher, but we are, like I identified previously, in this bearish control zone, which is the bearish um, golden pocket, right? This bearish golden pocket was created from this high here to this low. And the hope is that we would get to 30 or 31, which shows this area to be a strong consolidation area. However, we're not there yet. And so if we do not make it higher, if we get a rejection here in this area of the bearish control golden pocket zone, then this is going to be a head and shoulders. You can see the left shoulder here, the head here, and this would be the right shoulder, and it would be lower than the left shoulder, and then that would be bearish. So this is a very critical area for Bitcoin, and that's why Bitcoin is struggling so hard to make it through this area. Now, when we take a look here at the structure, we can see that I said before in the previous video that we could have two scenarios. One would be this sideways consolidation here, and then a push higher with a possible break to the upside and higher prices. And that's what Bitcoin is trying to do right now. Bitcoin was rejected here, and that's because we had this was a fake news article that created that rally. But yet we did have after that a gravestone candlestick develop. This is showing that we were rejected fair and square from this area. Now we are retesting it. We did rally up into this area prior to the Fed meeting, and so this is still sideways consolidation. Will we get rejected ultimately? Not really sure. It's very possible, but when we look at lower time frames, you can see that the market is not wanting to sell here. We're seeing a lot of consolidation here, and the market is really struggling to push through this bearish control zone. And so we'll just have to wait and see what the market ultimately does. Now, again, this sideways consolidation structure is still in progress. So we still do have the bias to the upside because the structure is currently bullish, right? So we did have a series of lows here with a higher low here and a higher low here. So this is a bullish structure. And the question is, what happens in this area? We're retesting this area now. If we do not go higher, if we fail here, then what we could do is come back down, retesting this 27,500 and even $27,000 area down here. And so we need to look for that as a possibility, and we need to look for that, and that would be telling us the price action in this area would tell us whether we're going to have a higher high or a breakdown of this area. So Bitcoin is in a critical time right now, and if we start deteriorating and we break that 27.5 area, we could even go as low as 25K. However, we're not seeing that kind of selling pressure yet. We're seeing the opposite. We're seeing a lot of bullishness in this area. So it's going to be really hard to know what Bitcoin does, and we don't have to predict. Sometimes we get a good idea of where it could go, but right now we need to be patient and see if the buyers, the bulls, are strong enough to push through this area. And so right now I'm expecting more sideways consolidation over the short term, and over the medium term possible rejection here, and then if that occurs, 27,500 is the area that we need to look at, and watch the price action very closely in that area to give us an idea of where Bitcoin will go next. The probability of a breakout here is on the table. We could consolidate and go higher. The longer we consolidate here, the more of a chance of a breakout to the upside. And if we do that, we're going to destroy a lot of bears, and the market is going to really start pushing higher. The altcoins should do well during that time. Now, that being said, on the 4 hour, we do see that the RSI is very strong. RSI is 68. The EMA is bullish, and the DMA trend is bullish. So we do not have any signs of a strong pullback yet, or targets lower yet. This is just sideways consolidation. So the contraction that we see now tells us that this move is over. And so we are just setting up for the next move, which is a sideways consolidation. We are in reversal, so we are putting pressure on that upside resistance area. And so this is bullish behavior. So what can I expect over the short term? The short term, the bias is to the upside, with a possible rejection and retest of the 27,500 area, which is down here. And then we have to assess once again if that is a higher low. That's very bullish. And then we'll have to see if Bitcoin can break through this golden pocket for the bulls, this bullish area that, or excuse me, for the bears. Golden pocket for the bears, this bearish area, whether it's going to break that or not. If not, then the market momentum most likely will shift down to 25K. That being said, the behavior at 25K, the price action, will determine the longer term, the longer bias, whether it's going to be to the downside, greater correction, or to the upside. Honestly, I think we're probably going to be going sideways into 2024, although I do think that it's very possible we get rejected here, and it's very possible that we come back down, testing 27 to 25K, putting in a double bottom like this, and then moving higher, quite possibly towards the end of the year and into next year, 2024. So I'm very bullish on the market long term, which is, 2024, 2025. I believe that the ETF, spot ETF by BlackRock, and now Grayscale, by the way, Grayscale has also put in a revised second application, and I actually shared this on my Twitter X. Grayscale files for new spot Bitcoin ETF. And so I think that the market still being somewhat bullish long or medium term and long term, is going to go higher. However, I just think that temporarily we may see some type of rejection here, another pullback, putting in a double bottom or a higher low, and then into next year another surge higher. I do believe that that's probably the likely scenario. But again, not investment advice. I've been wrong before. We could actually have a continuation here. This would not be entirely off of the table or out of the possibilities. So because we are seeing the markets very, very impatient. So now, looking at the structure, typically whenever we see an impulse higher and we see a green bull cloud, we see a couple of impulses to the upside. So we moved higher here, that was impulse one, and we moved higher here, or not higher, but we had another impulse try to the upside, which is a secondary impulse. And so that's what we're seeing here. We've seen the first impulse higher, and now we're seeing a secondary impulse. So this price action is it's very common, and not out of the ordinary. Now on the 2 hour time frame, we see that we are still very bullish here, not wanting to sell down. So it's going to be very interesting what happens over the next couple of weeks, ending this October month going into November. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it, friends. I'm very bullish long term. I hope that you had a good weekend. I hope you have a very good weekend coming up. Please give the video a like and share and subscribe. We will see you next time.